This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. How are we going to win? We're not going to win by playing identity politics fights, okay? The left will win every single time playing identity politics. It is important, though, to note that under President Trump, the country was a lot better. And under Kamala Harris, because clearly Kamala Harris has been running the White House, Joe Biden was not running anything, the country's a nightmarish disaster. Donald Trump was asked yesterday if Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, and what he did was he just repeated the headlines of the corporate press. California Kamala Harris becomes first Indian American senator. Okay. Corporate media has run with these headlines for a long time. Kamala Harris, here in Business Insider. California's Kamala Harris becomes first Indian American senator. All right. Kamala Harris has said this in interview after interview after interview after interview, including with celebrities and reporters. 7 million views on this. Like, what do you want from us? Like, Donald Trump's repeating Kamala Harris's lines here. Here we go.
A little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear.
Okay, so good old Trump in his own way. A man who ran against Donald Trump for president, somebody who actually did run for president, unlike Kamala Harris, is Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek saying that many Indian Americans in the U.S. are indeed somewhat offended by the way that Kamala Harris has suddenly cast aside her Indian heritage. She wore it when it was convenient, and she's wearing a different identity now. There's like two different ways of saying a larger picture thing, which is that nobody knows who the hell Kamala Harris is, including her, who's pronounced her own name different ways on TV. So who is Kamala Harris? And more importantly, what does she stand for? Like, because Kamala Harris served under a guy who said that you can't be your race if you don't vote for him.
Wait, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black.
Then you ain't black. Did Kamala Harris ever disavow those comments? How about these comments where Joe Biden says that poor kids are just as smart as white kids?
They have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh, wait.
Wealthy kids.
Oh, wait. Joe Biden did get called out during the debate for being a racist. By who? Kamala Harris.
And it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Oh, wow. And then you went on to serve this evil, villainous racist that didn't want you to get an education, Kamala. It's crazy. Like, did somebody ever ask you a question about these, like, obviously racist things?
Not the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Wow, you got a clean African American, says Joe Biden, who's nice looking. Okay, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if first black president chooses you as vice president. Oh, got it. Let's see if your black vice president calls you out on this. Nope, didn't happen. Super convenient, isn't it? Super convenient, isn't it? But has Joe Biden, you know, Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican. Kamala Harris's mother is Indian, South Indian. So has Joe Biden said anything offensive against Indians? I mean, he said these very offensive things about black people. But what about Indians, right? Has Joe Biden thoroughly offended all of Kamala Harris's heritage? Oh.
7-Eleven or a Dunkin'.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
I'm not joking, says Joe Biden. Look at the look on his face. This is what makes me think there's no Joe Biden body double, because only one person could make that creepy of a face. It's the same creepy face he makes to this very day. So, ladies and gentlemen, the whole point of all of this is not to obviously dig up all of the embarrassing garbage about Joe Biden. There's plenty of that. The whole point about all of this is to say that Kamala Harris never gets asked about these things, whereas every Republican from now until eternity will be asked about Donald Trump, talking about Kamala Harris's heritage. So Kamala Harris worked with Joe Biden. Did nobody ever ask? This is Tom Cotton, a Republican senator, on CNN last night, making that exact point, which is such a great point. This is how you answer a loaded question, and good job, Tom.
How does her changing her views on her policy justify having the Republican nominee questioning her race? Does that increase or decrease your party's chances of winning in November?
Well, Caitlin, you haven't had that conversation with Kamala Harris because she's been hiding out.
I want to have this conversation with you, Senator.
Just like Joe Biden hid out before her. And my point is, when are you and the rest of the media going to demand that Kamala Harris come out and answer questions in an unscripted format about where she stands for this country, as opposed to continuing to focus on what Donald Trump said today? 4 years ago, Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Could you imagine a more insulting comment? Joe Biden is presuming to judge the political views of 1/8 of our fellow citizens based on their skin color. Did you ever ask Kamala Harris to condemn his remarks?
There are
Did you ever ask him or ask her if that was racist?
This is a question. You're a Republican senator, so I want to ask you about the Republican nominee.
Did you ask Kamala Harris? Caitlin, did you ask Kamala Harris why she's willing to serve as vice president for a man she essentially called racist and a segregationist? Have you or anyone else in the media asked Kamala Harris those questions, Caitlin?
Senator, trust me, I covered the Biden-Harris White House. We obviously have asked for her to come on. But my question is for you about this. Donald Trump's pick for VP once questioned whether he was America's Hitler.
So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one. Well done, Tom Cotton. I'm not sure if he's my favorite senator, but I got to tell you, that was gold. This is exactly how you should approach questions like that. Questions like that are not asked in good faith. Journalists don't ask Democrats the same questions, and they don't hold them to the same standards. And so, well done. Close the book on them and say it. Now, somebody who has been saying some very amazing and perfect rings like a bell commentary about Kamala Harris has been Elon Musk. Elon Musk said, "This is amazing," to a Kamala Harris advertisement. That is my favorite ad of the cycle so far, with 140 million views. The most viral ad of the election cycle so far. Get ready. Here's Kamala.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility of the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be, unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.